Welcome back. And I'm back, and not back alone. I'm back with Tumpus. How are you doing, Asiedu, the Golden Girl?
I'm doing okay. Hi, everybody. So,
Really?
so yeah, it's time for Good Living segment. Yeah, Good Living segment. And we urge you to please get interactive with us. On all our social media platforms, we are still playing Quick Cash. Okay?
Yep. We're giving out money.
Yeah.
Star 281 hash, and you can play. Option 7 is your best bet. It's Choice Prime, and you just have to keep playing, all right? Start from 5 series upwards. You can play as many times as you want.
Yeah.
If you want some of the money already, you can still go ahead and play and make some money for yourself, all right? There are many people who have won the monies and they've used it for so many things. Some have bought new laptops, some are paying rent, some are
School
school
fees,
fees.
yeah.
You know, some are taking it to nightclub. Last week, Friday, I met one of the guys that actually won the money here on the show at one of the clubs in the town, a Republic Bar. I was there chilling. And this guy comes through and says, come here. I said, yo, what's up? I want the money. I said, me and you will chill here today. We'll go finish the money.
So you squandered his money.
We'll go finish. We'll finish the money.
Why would you do that?
Guy came with about 3 girls. I said, I'm part of it. You know, but I'm happy when I meet people like that. You know, I'm also excited when we're able to, you know, show love and you meet these people out there and they recognize the fact that you've done something for them and they want to, you know, let the people know. So we ended up hanging out for a while. And,
Isn't that
I was in the company of some few other people. So we really had a good time, all right? So win the money and invite me. Let's spend the money.
All right, so I guess that's seated for the conversation. Now, today we are going to talk on hydration. Hydration. I asked the question, I asked you earlier.
Yeah. I drink a lot of water.
You said you drink a lot of water.
I live on water because I've come to realize that it can only put me in a better position, right?
Okay.
There's one thing understanding that, okay, every human being needs water. And another thing, you as a person, making it a point that I need it more than any other person. And so you make efforts to ensure that you're always keeping yourself hydrated. So whenever I'm going to sleep, I drink a lot of water. Before I sleep, when I wake up, I drink a lot of water. And you know, I exercise every day before I sleep. So I keep drinking water even when I exercise until I sleep, and when I wake up. I drink a lot of water as well.
That's nice.
I don't know what it's doing for me, but I want to believe it's doing something good for me.
Well, the experts are here to tell us.
Let me know that I'm doing something. Else I stop.
Yeah. But you know, another question too here is that is water the only fluid that you can take that will make you or your body accept that it is hydrated enough? And so, like I said, the experts are here. Niakwe Alate, medical officer at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Last week it was here, and it was a very sweet conversation when we're talking about sleep. Hi, Desmond.
Now, Desmond is making me want to do a better job for myself.
Oh, you're doing a great.
Same here.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the right posture when it comes to this.
Oh, yes. The puutu.
Okay, yes, and we have a food nutritionist here with us as well. Ekuya Iswama Chumesi, right? Teria. Okay, Teria. Hi, Ekuya.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. So you own Food Heals Network as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. So viewers, as you can see, we have the right people for the conversation. So it's all about hydration. So start sending your questions about water, about fluids, anything at all that you have in relation to worry about discussing. Let's get right into it. So, I want to start with Desmond Niakwe. You prefer to be called Niakwe, so let's do it that way instead. So when we say hydration, what really is hydration?
Okay, so hydration means basically hydra, like water. Hydro means water.
Okay.
So when you say hydration, it's basically talking about the amount of water in your body, basically. It's the balance of fluid in your body. So when you say hydration, how much water is in your body? As we know, the body is made up of about 60% water. Your whole mass is mainly water.
That's a lot of percentage, right?
Yes, a lot. That's more than almost 2/3.
Yeah.
So if you consider that, even the earth itself is made up of about 70%.
Yeah.
So water is a very important element.
Yeah.
So it's a very important element that nature has blessed us with.
Yeah.
And it helps to maintain health and also keep us in shape. When you look from head to toe, almost every tissue, every cell in the body depends on water to run for optimal functioning, from the eyes to the joints, to the heart, to the kidneys. They all depend on water. So water is a very important thing, and then I'm glad we are talking about it.
The eye needs the water to cry? Or
Yes.
there's any other function about crying?
When you look at the anatomy of the eye, it has vitreous humor and aqueous humor. They are all water. Water stored in chambers of the eye.
That's what makes us cry.
Exactly. No, so that is another, I'll come to that.
I want to know why we cry.
So that,
with tears.
so that itself helps for vision because
Okay.
it passes through the medium and then helps with, the cells to take the information, the visual information for you to see. So you can understand that it's a very important
That's crucial.
agent. Then the tear glands also have their important role of lubricating the eyes. So if you open your eyes for like a long time, there's a likelihood you have inflammation of your eyes, and then you may even, depending on how progressive it goes, inflammation and may end up scarring the eye and things like that because it has to be kept lubricated all the time. So when you blink, some of the tears pass on the eye, the surface of the eye, for it to be well lubricated, for all the cells to be functional and to keep it running. You see, when you look at almost every biochemical process, you see that there's water underpinning it, H2O underpinning it, from respiration to all the cellular processes that occur. Water is an important agent. That one, even when you study biochem at that level, you can't do without water. So TS itself has the social part, which is when you are sad and things like that, crying. But the most important thing is for lubrication of the eyes, so that it keeps the cells healthy and functional. Because dry eyes will make you feel irritated on your eyes, and then it's unpleasant, can lead to pain, and then if you prolong it, it can even cause blindness at the end of the day. Because very dry eyes, it means you are killing the cells on that part of the eye. So water is important.
Okay.
This is
Yeah. Very interesting. Ikea, are you good?
Yes, please. I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. So earlier I said something that is water the only fluid that the body needs? And being a food nutritionist, what would you say to that?
All right. So I would say water is kind of overhyped, and although it's one of the most important nutrients that we need in order to stay hydrated, but then water is not the only fluid that keeps an individual hydrated.
Okay.
We have so many ways you can incorporate hydration into your daily lives you can't do that without water. But then water is the major part, and then we have other aspects of, we have other fluids that can be introduced to our daily lives. And an example is coconut water. So maybe you wake up in the morning, mostly we tell people that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you have to do is take in water. How about, I don't feel like taking water? You can flavorize it. You can put lemon inside. You can put cucumbers inside. You can take in coconut water to replace the normal water that we have. This kind of, like, you try to flavorize it. You try to make it more fun. And it increases your chance of doing it. Imagine waking up in the morning to a glass of water with some cucumbers in it, with some lemon in it. Even the flavor alone or how it looks, it makes it appealing.
Yeah.
So it's like you're living, the ish lifestyle.
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
issue, yeah?
So coconut water can be substituted. Water can be substituted for coconut water.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Incredible. Okay. So I know of other, let's say, fruits, like watermelon, for instance.
Watermelon.
So
Watermelon is the
it's-
fruit. With,
okay.
Yeah, it contains about 95% of water.
Yes.
And then we have cucumbers, we have lettuce. Yeah, they are all very rich in, water content. We have strawberries, we have raspberries, we have grapes. All of these are fruits and vegetables that have a lot of water in them. So taking them, it's equally important like you taking water. If we say stay hydrated, we don't mean take in water throughout the day. Even the juices that we take, even the foods that we take, the soups that we take in, they all contain some amount of water. So we telling you or we advising you to keep hydrated throughout the day doesn't mean you should go about holding a water bottle or taking in only water, you can add other stuff like fruit. You can add your vegetables, you can add your fruit juices, your smoothies, and your coconut water, which is very healthy, and it makes the blood vessels dilate, which helps your blood flow, not putting too much pressure on your heart, and at the end of the day, you're going to control your blood pressure.
KMJ, I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason, anytime I take in any other fluid that isn't water, I easily get thirsty again.
Oh, you want to drink? Okay.
But the moment I drink actual water, I become okay.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
No, this is
What's
only
happening?
you. I'm sure.
Okay, so I'm asking for myself. Viewers, I'm asking for... Okay, you see, a lot of people, and I know the viewers out there, you experience...
No, I know the category where you guys belong. Don't worry.
No, but...
the names they are mentioning, you're all the same.
But I want this to be addressed. How is that possible? You want to take that?
So I believe that what the ideal hydrant is water. I mean, that is the ideal. I mean, there are other fluid sources and things. It's okay. But you see, probably you are used to water as your source of hydration. So your body, you see, your body learns and adjusts with whatever exposure you give it. So for you, when you go to Europe, the flavored water is almost always there. I mean, you hardly get even plain water because the stores are full of
And it's very different.
And they are used to the flavored water because their taste and their body is used to that form of hydration fluid. So it's with time. But I mean, it's okay. Water is still the ideal. So you can add other sources of fluid to keep you going. I mean, at least everybody needs a maintenance level of fluid. Maintenance means the amount your body needs to keep it running. Baseline, when you are even sitting down, not doing anything, you lose some fluid through your breathing, through your skin. We call it insensible loss of water. And you go and urinate, you go to the washroom, the loo, all those things, you lose some form of water. Even your speech, saliva, and all those things. So baseline, you need to replace these quantities of waters that are lost. So baseline, you need at least, for an adult, you need at least 3 liters of water a day. So 3 liters, that's about, so if you are taking sachet water, that's roughly 5 sachets of water in a day. So people prefer the water bottles because probably it keeps them reminded that, oh, take some. Because the recommendation is if you end up binging on the water, you may not balance the intake. So you end up drinking more at a certain time, and then you have deficit at a certain time. So the recommendation is to balance the intake over the 24 hours you have a day. Exactly. So that it's like you are keeping the fluids running. It's like as you are losing, you are replacing. As you are losing, you are replacing. Now, we come to the extreme when we have states where you are predisposed to losing water in excess quantities. So like you are sick and you are having vomiting, or you are having diarrhea, or you are sweating a lot from exercise, or there's a condition that's making you, not be able to absorb food nutrients, malabsorption or any of these, you end up losing more than the normal loss that you expect. Yeah. So in this case, you even need more to replace these. That is why when we recommend that when you are vomiting or you are having diarrhea, you take in ORS. ORS is your fluid, what is correcting that fluid deficit.
Okay.
Because ORS, the main constituent is water, and then the salts, electrolytes. Because we believe that as you vomit and you have the diarrhea, you lose these important electrolytes are chemicals that help with the processes in the cells. So you lose them. When you lose them, it makes you weaker. It makes you, it makes all the cells become less effective in their function, not optimal. So when you are replacing the fluid, you are replacing the electrolytes as well. Importantly,
please wait.
Okay. All right.
So the ORS doesn't stop the diarrhea.
So the ORS
is replacing fluids you are losing.
So the diarrhea, most of
that is really
exactly. So the moment you run small, ORS.
It has an effect on helping to control it.
But
because of the electrolyte, the major thing is to replace the fluid.
Oh, wow.
Because most of the diarrheal diseases may be viral. So when you go to the pharmacy, you say you're going to buy antibiotics, it may worsen it because it may be viral. So the main thing is to replace the fluids and the electrolytes that go with it. So if you are vomiting, you are losing sodium, potassium, all those things. And they are all important in cellular function. So once you are taking in, the belief is the salt and the sugar in it is helping to
Replace all that.
Okay. And coconut water is a very good substitute because naturally coconut water has these electrolytes.
Okay.
And these ions. So as you are hydrating with coconut, so even children recommend coconut water, ORS, or anything that has fluids like rice water, any of those foods, just to replace it one and to help with the electrolytes in the imbalance. So the more you have diarrhea, the more you have vomiting and fluid loss, when water goes, electrolytes will follow, sodium will follow. So all these processes can lead to, a drop in your blood pressure, brain health, you lose concentration, you can become confused to the extent that you can even have muscle cramping. I had a patient who was very dehydrated. He's hypertensive, but came in with very low BPs because he's losing fluid. Because the water helps, fluids help with the control of the blood pressure, like keeps the blood pressure at par. So if you lose a lot, you lose volume in the blood, in the blood vessels. So you end up dropping the blood pressure. So you can have severe dehydration that can lead to even what we call hypovolemic shock. It means that you've lost so much blood that your kidneys, your heart, and all your vital organs, they are not getting good blood supply. Because blood has nutrients and oxygen that will keep your cells running. So once you enter those stages, sometimes it becomes even very difficult to reverse.
Yes, yeah.
So we recommend that once you are losing fluids, replace them promptly. Even if you are vomiting, then you get to the hospital because at the hospital we'll be able to secure alternative access because if you drink, you vomit. So we have to set an IV access so that we can give you alternative route of administration of the water, so much important water that you need, so that you don't run into such problems. There are people who come and they've had so much dehydration that their kidneys just shut down. We call that acute kidney injury, or AKI, or renal failure. So acutely, they don't have any kidney problem. But because they've lost so much fluid, they enter into this pre-renal failure. Means a lot of fluid loss has caused the kidney to shut down because the kidney needs blood flow to keep it running. It needs the oxygen, the nutrients in the blood to keep it running. So once this is shut down, the kidney will stop functioning for that time. So until we replace it, it will shut down. And when we have a very short time to replace it and to correct what has happened. There are times that correction doesn't work. Then it tips you off into chronic kidney disease. Then you start getting dialysis. So that is how important
this is crazy.
Water
crazy.
Losing water.
No, so okay, I'm sure this means that you'll be very worried about Galamsey. And it's because if we lose all our water bodies and we still don't understand why we need to use alternatives like the fruits and all of that to make sure we get enough water in our body, then it means that we're headed to destruction, let me put it that way. Your daily interaction with people and letting them know that this is also important, how do they receive the message? Are people ready to take the alternative, or they find the alternative a bit outrageous? Because it will be easier to go and buy water, sachet or whatever, but it will be a bit difficult to go and buy a pineapple, banana, watermelon, because the systems have had. How do people accept it?
All right. The one key aspect we encounter as a public health nutritionist is the fact that we are experiencing a nutrition transition process. What do I mean by this? People have shifted their focus from natural, whole, healthy foods to ultra-processed foods. People would rather buy bottled sweetened beverage than buy orange. People would rather buy something that they've mixed in a bottle. I don't know if it's because of the color or because of the advertisements, because of how our celebrities are even taking charge. You watch the TV every day, and almost every celebrity is advertising. If it's not an alcoholic drink, it's an energy drink. What are we telling? What information are we selling? You know, celebrities are like social vices, sort of. So if a child sees somebody drinking an energy drink, then they perceive, oh, then this is good. If this person is drinking it, then it means I can also take it. So instead of going to buy watermelon, which has great amount of water in it, instead of going to buy coconut water, why don't I buy this packaged one? Because this celebrity I love so much was taking it. So that is one aspect of it. Our celebrities, getting involved in our way to advocate for these kind of things.
Yeah, it's true. Not to catch you. I remember, I think last year or so, Messi after a match, and when he was addressing
the
press. So there was Coca-Cola and there was mineral water. He pushed the Coca-Cola aside and they took the mineral water.
Yeah.
And then within that short period, apparently Coca-Cola lost a lot of patronage just because of that.
Yeah.
So it's true. There's so much influence. Yeah.
So another thing is our climate, the climate change, and the galamsey you mentioned. We are losing our water bodies. The climate is not helping, and that is why we have a lot of agri-businesses going on. People are advocating for climate action and all sorts of that, which is an SDG. So what are we doing about it? We go out there, we speak to people. You don't have to do this, you have to do this. But then the policy aspect from the top-down approach, it's not really helping. Our health system, it's failing, honestly. We are not really doing our best because people are losing water bodies. Look at the go to the villages or the places where galamsey is really common. You see a lot of conditions, medical conditions over there. And there was a research, I think, published last year, which spoke about the fact that children born in this galamsey-prone areas are being born without, some are being born without birth defects.
Disformed. Yeah.
Why? Why is this so? Because they take in the water that is being contaminated. They are introducing mercury and other harmful products into the water, and we end up taking it. It's reducing male fertility. It's reducing female fertility. Females they are now prone to, early menopause when they are not supposed to. So some of these things are very critical, and we need to address it from, the policy approach. As an individual, I can just go and talk to them. Hey, galamsey is not good. It's affecting your water bodies. But how do they even receive that information? So until a policy is formed that you can't pollute water or you can't, engage in galamsey activities, until taxes are being placed on those kind of things, until a lot of, political influences come in. Yeah. We as individuals in the health field, we go out to talk. People talk about public health, and that is what we are doing right now. But are they even listening? How many people are even watching Joy Prime this morning?
Yeah.
But then if it comes like, government of Ghana says no galamsey, then that is something to, write home about. So it comes from the policy aspect. And individual education, public health educations, we've been doing that for so long. Every hospital has a public health unit. Every hospital, we go on radio stations. We broadcast this. This is not the first time you are hearing that water is good. And this is not the first, this won't be the last time.
The last time either, that's true.
Look at the number of health professionals you bring on your shows every year. Yeah. So how are we measuring the impact? What is the sustainability? What are the long-term effects? What are we even doing about this climate thing? Because that is the climate. We didn't create it. But then human activities are destroying it. Look at the prices of fruit these days. So you stand somewhere and tell somebody, eat fruit. Then they tell you, what money? With what money?
Yeah.
With what money?
Yeah.
Because the system is actually not working. And instead of us to focus on the policy aspect, we tend to sometimes limit ourselves and we tend to politicize everything, which is really not helping.
You know, yesterday I chanced on a video on social media where a town in the Western region, I think Ewusijo or something like that. So they are trending on social media because this galamsey issue, they are also facing it seriously. And their main source of water is from the rivers and then all that. And then, so what they do is when they go fetch the water, they put alum.
Yeah.
And then wait. So they wait for whatever to settle at the bottom. Then they pour what they think and they are seeing on the top as good. And either use it to bath, use it to cook, use it to wash. And one lady was saying that even when they use it to bath, one main thing every day that they face is So every day after bathing, they are scratching their body
again.
Let me make this. Currently, I'm a student at Ensign Global College, and my thesis is on the Akosombo Dam spillage. So we were on field. We went to Adidome, the affected areas, Azizenya, Pediatokope, Big Ada, and all those places that got flooded. And our thesis is basically looking at the effects of this flooding on livelihood vulnerability. Okay. When I say livelihood vulnerability, I mean how it displaced people, the post-health flood risk, the impact on education. And we are 3 people working on this together with Engage Now Africa and Ensign Global College. And when we went there, it was so sad. It was so sad because some of the water bodies they showed us, I got this little boy who went to show me a stream that they fetch water from. And the color is orange. So he told me they fetch the water, they now come home. If there's time, they boil it. If there's no time, they just prepare the food right away.
How do you expect people living in a town like this to be hydrated, well hydrated? How can you even go and preach about it because you're not getting access to clean water?
That is it. A lot of emergency, emergency relief items were donated, like sachet water and those kind of things. But it wasn't enough, so they were still running back to the river, which was polluted, contaminated at that time. Because if you look at the rate of the flooding, people lost livestock, people's stuff. I mean, a lot of cemeteries were even flooded. So imagine the water from the cemetery going back into the river and people fetching it. They had a lot of skin conditions. Schistosomiasis was very rampant over there. People were peeing blood, people had skin rashes. I mean, it goes beyond what we saw on the news and everything. And my research, my focus is analyzing the newspapers. I'm looking at how the media went about publishing issues on the Akosombo Dam spillage. I mean, the just ended one. And even in the newspapers, I mean, it's everywhere. The intent of it, and after that, we still went to the field to, I mean, see it ourselves, whether there are differences, whether the media people were just exaggerating. But no, they weren't. People were really suffering. People were displaced. I mean, there's this old man we came across who is diabetic, he's hypertensive, and his house got flooded. And I think at during the night, he went into hypo. He was in hypo and he didn't get any form of help. The man died. It's on the news that we recorded no death, but actually, when we went there, we realized that in Pediatrocoped, they actually recorded 2 deaths. There was this young boy who, I learned when the floods came at dawn, they were just rushing to pick up their things, and they lost sight of him before they realized the water had carried him away.
This is really heartbreaking. This is really heartbreaking.
But I've got friends who like a lot of, herbal teas. The difference. They have colors. They have everything.
I do.
She's part of those people. Okay, that's a good one. Anyway, Doc, is it also good or it's not?
Well, okay. So when it comes to herbal tea, you have to exercise some caution because it's not every tea that may be healthy for you. Herbs are good. Anything. Let me say this point about the galamsey. Anything that distorts nature or distorts the balance of nature is a threat to livelihood. So if you are destroying water bodies and there's no political will to stop it, it's a threat to livelihood. Like, if you don't have water, trees will not grow, plants will not grow. You don't have your food. You can't sustain the environment. 3 things about health. You, the host, you, the human being, your environment, your genetic makeup. So if you distort the environment, there's no way you can live healthy. So it's very, very important. I mean, our leaders must,
really
have the political will to make. So herbal tea. So herbs are good, but we have caution when we are using herbs. The point is, when it comes to herbal medications and things, most of these ones have not gone through thorough research and thorough scientific processes. Before we say this drug has come out, maybe a company has produced paracetamol, the number of trials it goes through, like a lot of phases for years. They'll test it on rats, test it on people, animals before it will come to human beings. But most of our herbal, things, it doesn't go through these thorough processes. So you have to exercise caution. I'll say that anytime you want to take anything herbal, consult your doctor first. Doctors are not against herbal practice or herbal medicine, but it is with caution, because if you don't do it with caution, end up damaging the organs, the kidney, for instance. Because some of these chemicals that may be natural, we call them phytochemicals. They are natural, they are good, but when you don't know the right quantities you are taking in, then it becomes a problem, because it becomes toxins for the body to handle. It becomes like poisons for the body. So there's a quote that for any substance, for any medicine, it can be a poison, or it can be food can be medicine or poison, depending on the quantities you take in and how much. You see, when it comes to orthodox, we know that maybe I'm taking paracetamol 1 gram. How many times a day? Maybe they recommended this amount in a day. You can't exceed maybe 3 grams in a day or 4 grams in a day. But the herbal medicine we've not really refined it to the point that we know that this is the number of
quantity.
We are still going. We are still getting into like the dosing and the, even apart from dosing, you need to know the effect on the body, side effect profile, the administration, quantities, how you can administer it so that it will be safe, safety and efficacy. We are still going small. I believe we'll get there. But meanwhile, we have to be cautious when it comes to some of these herbal teas and things.
Okay.
So always consult your doctor or your nutritionist, and then you gain more insight as to which tea is good for you. Now, there are fluids that we recommend apart from water.
Okay.
For instance, natural juice. Say you've done your smoothies or whatever. Naturally, it's okay. Or milk, whole milk, or skimmed milk. You get it. Those are naturally, fine things. Don't replace these healthy fluids with alcohol. Don't replace there are some countries that, like I heard Russia, for instance, for a certain stage in their, in their economy, it was so hard. Water was so expensive that they were drinking a lot of beer. So we don't want to get to that point where we can't get water, but we are replacing it with beer. No, it has its own impact on our health because
or even affect replacing water with coffee.
Exactly. So
or
it's
soda drinks.
So caffeine is becoming a problem for us now because we are not living a balanced life. So we want to cheat nature. We want to overwork. We want to overdo things. So everybody needs more energy, but that shouldn't be so. We need a healthy means to maintain our health and energy. So caffeine is a stimulant. It has an effect on our blood pressure. It has an effect on almost every organ in the body. So if you are taking your energy drinks loaded with caffeine, you are taking your teas loaded with caffeine, you are taking your coffee, unless you go for decaffeinated options. But most of the time, these products contain caffeine. So we try to make the advocates such that you limit these means of
can
feeding.
take them.
You can't take them, but it shouldn't be in excess quantities.
Right, okay.
You get it?
Okay.
That it may pose health risks to you. There are people who have blood pressure issues. There's no way you should go near coffee because it will shoot your blood pressure up.
Okay.
You understand? So you should know, and I know some of my professors who enjoy coffee a lot, and they say it has kept them going. They are younger with their coffee. It is okay, but in moderation. Do you understand? If you don't have any health risk, that's what I'm saying. Before you go into anything at all, just consult your doctor. We are always there for you. So just have a chat with the doctor. If he tells you it's fine, you go ahead. If he tells you there's a problem here and here, you listen. So I believe that some of these things, you use them with caution, but there are, issues that you may be posed to if you, take the
I used
next
to be a
step.
serious coffee person until I started cutting it down. These days, I don't even remember.
Let me come in. There are some people who are so addicted to coffee
They can't
they can't live without coffee.
I've got friends.
And sometimes when they don't take their coffee, they have tremors.
Yeah.
They get
they
withdrawal
are.
symptoms.
Yeah.
So that's how bad.
I used to
caffeine-
take coffee so much that sometimes I would even add lemon.
Lemon to it. Yeah,
In my
know that.
head,
With
I am
hot water.
drinking something healthy.
Yeah,
But unfortunately,
So it's, med school, for instance, final year, you see people, somebody go and buy a whole jug of coffee, finish it in less than a week, just so he wants to learn hard and, but the point is you're stressing yourself, you're stressing the body. Anything that is, non-natural and has an artificial bearing, and you take it in excess, you are worrying your system. Because now you want to overlearn, because you've not learned over the 6 years. It's the final year that you want to make a point. So you want to take I saw somebody with a whole jug of coffee with his MacBook on the side, just trying to tell you that, Charlie, this...
Your system is not also
somebody
built
with,
like that.
what's the name? I will not mention the name, but there's one B, it starts with R, like a whole, this one, like they can buy a pack and finish it in less than a week. Just so they can, but at the end, it has an effect on your system.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not healthy.
It's not. If you just join us here on the show, we're talking about hydration, and we are looking at ways so you can get hydrated to make the body function properly. And we've spoken about a lot of things. I'm sure if you tune in from the beginning, there's so many things that you've learned. You can send your messages to us. Let us know what you think. If you're not getting hydrated enough, if you've got situations that are not making you hydrate enough, you need to just speak to the doctors, and they are here, they will help us. Now, one thing that I'm also thinking about is, how do we even consciously do this? Just so because we have got too many things we're doing in a day, you are sometimes even, I personally sometimes even forget that I've drank water in a day. You know, because you'll be everywhere. You're doing so many things, busy schedules and all of that. Do we now have to go and look for a timetable in our heads or find alarm that will say, pee, 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 go and drink water? People have that, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, so how do we deal with some of these things?
All right, so for my clients, mostly I tell them to, if you can, then carry a water bottle, I mean a portable one around, and then you don't have to wait to feel thirsty before you take in water. Taking water or maybe hydration, mostly it deals with a whole lot of things comes to play. For people who live a sedentary lifestyle, people whose work demand more of sitting, they are in the air condition, they have these kind of issues because mostly they tend to forget because I mean the place is cool. I'm not stressed and I'm not sweating.
Yeah, you're not getting
so why
tested,
should I?
sort of.
I'm not doing any strenuous activity. So why do I even take in water? So for my clients who kind of live this kind of lifestyle, I mean their work schedules, they are mostly indoors and they don't actually do anything strenuous. They are mostly sitting. Then I recommend they set alarm clocks. We have apps that can remind you to take in water. And you can carry your portable bottle around to, I mean, sip. When we say taking water, it doesn't mean just get the whole bottle. Dr. Nico mentioned
everything.
Yes, they're just bunching on everything. No, you can just be sipping it once a while. And then for people who are mostly involved in strenuous activities, like the masons, those people whose work demand, they are mostly in the sun or they are mostly walking about, they are doing all sorts of things. For them, even the sweat will remind you that I need to take in water.
Yeah.
You'll feel thirsty. But then even with that, you don't have to wait to feel thirsty before you take in water. You are walking about, you've seen the coconut seller around. Just stop by and then
Drink some
yes,
coconut water.
Coconut water.
Okay.
And that is very key. And also the weather condition. During the dry season, people tend to take in a lot of water.
Yeah.
But then during the season when the sun
Rains
is
everywhere.
It rains everywhere, the sun doesn't really shine. That is when you need those reminders in order not to forget. Whether it's raining or it's shining, you still need water.
Okay. All right. So we have some comments from Facebook. Let's take the comments. So Kwejo Adai Mununkum says, I want nutritionists to tell me the foods that can keep me hydrated. Okay, so she mentioned some fruits and we'll let her mention some vegetables if there's any such. Kingsley Medical Boza says, please, for me, I've been having this kind of fluid that sometimes comes out from my eye. Can that be a sign of loss of fluid? Our medical officer.
Okay,
Desmond.
so yes, so I can presume probably it's just the tears we spoke about. I don't know the circumstances and everything around the fluid that comes out.
Okay.
But naturally, tears can come from your eye. There are some people that have this condition that when they take in fluid, they start becoming teary.
Yeah.
I think it's called Bogorat syndrome or something, if I'm sure. So they start becoming teary with that because they have these nervous, distortions that when their tongues taste or touches fluid, it stimulates their tear glands, lacrimal glands, to produce fluid. But we have to examine the type of fluid coming. That's the point. So if he has an inflammation of the eye or conjunctivitis and things, and it's bacterial, it could be pus or infected fluid coming out. So we have to examine him and then know
Be able
the
to
problem.
know.
Okay.
Exactly.
It could be that maybe when he remembers his broken heart to some years, the tear just dropped one, and then he'll be there. He remembers it, the tear just dropped. I shouldn't have still.
Did you really have to say that?
I'm
okay,
helping
I want you to mention some foods, and then you will talk about your Food Heals Network.
All right.
Quickly, please.
Yes,
'cause,
please.
Yeah.
With the fruits or the foods that can keep one hydrated aside water, I already mentioned coconut water, which is a very good, substitute, not to replace water, but it's very good. We have watermelon, we have cucumber, we have lettuce. Lettuce is very good. We have all fruits from the citrus group. So we have the mango, the pineapple, the oranges, strawberries, grapes. They are all very good.
Okay.
And then also you can take in soups. You can take in broth. So broth is like a lighter form of soup. Mostly some people may want their soup thick, but then broths are like lighter forms of soups that has enough fluid in them, you can also take those ones.
Okay, all right. So Food Heals Network.
All right, so Food Heals Network is a healthy eating brand, and we are geared towards, how do you call it, promoting awareness and increasing advocacy on the fact that it's not only drugs that heals. What do we even use in making these drugs or these supplements? It's food. Most of the drugs we have, they are made from nutrients. And where do we get the nutrients? We get them from food.
Okay.
So we want to raise awareness towards the fact that food also heals. We provide customized diet plans. We speak to people about their health. We give people education. We do screenings. We talk to market women. We conduct researches. And that is all Food Heals Network is about, just using food to treat various medical conditions.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Ike, and thank you, Desmond, for your time this morning. Briefly, happy birthday to Nanaya Mante Dankwa of DMAC Home Logic, Yapim Mampong from OFOS. And so this is where we end Prime Morning today. Okay.
We're back again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Myself, Sierra Golden Girl, Rosalyn Felly. Thanks for watching. Have a good morning.